Hello, good morning and good afternoon. Today I'm going to talk about how to overcome self-sabotage to unlock your potential. And I will start with sharing some stories when and still now, I sabotage myself, right? So I remember when I was in my coaching training program, the way I sabotage myself, like was to say I'm not ready to get clients, and I saw like half of my class, already with clients and working, and I used to tell myself, well, I need to know more, I need to be prepared, I don't want to make a mistake, I don't want to fail people, right? So there were lots of fear, and it took me a bit more time than my colleagues or some of my colleagues to start getting clients because I was too afraid, right? And that's the way I was sabotaging myself, because the thing that I want the most was to serve people, was to practice what I was working in my life, share that with others, and and also like when I had coaching conversations with some clients and they were ready to hire me, I used to take some time to, get back to them and to, send the contract, because again, I think there was a fear of they change their mind, and that's a way, avoidance, right? It's a way we sabotage ourselves. So, well, I'm a big saboteur, but I want to bring a positive perspective here as well, that, if you identify your self-sabotage, if you're in it, it is a sign that you're close to a change, right? It is a sign that you're trying something that makes you afraid, and you can overcome, right? So, self-sabotage is when we get in our own way. Like, just to summarize, that's what it is. I think when I was younger, I used to sabotage myself less because I had very little fear of the unknown, right? Everything was new and there was like so many possibilities, and I would just, take the chance and try new things. And of course, life happens. We start getting disappointed with some situations, people, events, and then the fear starts getting more present. And as I got older, I felt like, okay, well, I cannot afford to make that mistake again, or so I became less risk taker. At some period of my life, I would say from 25 to 30, 33, that's 33 more. That's where I was very careful, trying to control everything, and controlling is another way we sabotage ourselves. So I hope that you enjoy this conversation here today. If you have any questions, you can share with me now or later. I really want to get your perspective and see, what are you thinking about this? So, so self-sabotage is when we consciously or unconsciously we block our own growth, right? The things that we most want, right? We want success, we want to have a well-being, we want to have good relationships, but because of, our surviving patterns, we block those things in our lives, right? So I want to say that, self-sabotage is not laziness, right? Sometimes it's interpret a way that self-sabotage shows up. It can be with procrastination, and it can look like it's a laziness, but it is actually, a protection, right? Because you don't feel safe to proceed with whatever you're working on. whether it's getting a partner or, building your own business or becoming a parent, whatever you are, having a better work-life balance, right? It feels that you're not prepared for what's in the other side of the breakthrough, right? So we choose over and over to stay in our comfort zone, to stay with what's familiar, than to try something new, because again, it's the fear of the unknown, right? So it's about surviving strategies that no longer serve us. And so here are some examples of how we sabotage ourselves. You may postpone things, right? Like I used to do, and sometimes still do, right? Like you start postponing, like you delay, oh, I'm not ready. Or sometimes it's like, you're someone that say yes to everything, you overcommit and get to a burnout. This is a way you sabotage your well-being, for example, right? We have a tendency to resist normal. And what I call it normal means like, taking care of yourself on a regular basis, right? Some self-sabotage, structures is to change the self-sabotage is actually to have a regular bed time and rise time, right? No media, or minimizing the media, especially before bedtime, right? And planning, right? Planning what you want to achieve the next day, making sure you put the most important things that will move your projects forward, right? Because we can make ourselves busy with anything, right? So overthinking is a way we also self-sabotage, right? So so another thing is avoiding visibility. So again, I can see myself in all of this. I remember when I started, with Instagram, I thought like, oh my God, I'm gonna make a post once a week. And that was so hard because I was so afraid of people's judgment, right? Or what people would think or say about me. And that fear was holding me back. And that was a way I was sabotaging myself, right? I overcame that because here I am. Another way we sabotage is that when you start something, you start, yes, I'm gonna do this, it's gonna work, you start strong, and then, you stop halfway because you fear either to fail, like, oh, it's not gonna work, or you are avoiding or fearing success, right? It's kind of like, it seems like very contradicting, right? That we avoid success. But that's what self-sabotage does, right? Like you are avoiding your own success when you keep, again, choosing consciously or unconsciously bad habits or other things versus what you really want to do, right? So, we create structures and habits that sabotages our well-being, but we don't do that consciously, right? Like, or intentionally. Like, so, for example, today I was coaching someone and, and the goal is to have a better work-life balance, better well-being. But what, the client is choosing is like, okay, I go to sleep like midnight and I wake up and there is like not much room for the morning routine, right? To get ready with the kids and all of that. So, considering that is a self-sabotage, right? Like, so making sure you get the number of hours sleep that you need to, to be able to be with, to be with people, to be with, in relationships, right? And that's what we do every day, all day. Hello, my friends. I gotta repeat this one here because I see someone here that needs to hear it. that a way we sabotage ourselves is like, do you see yourself in this? Like you start something very strong and you say, okay, now it's gonna work, I'm gonna do it. And then halfway through it, you stop, you give up, because you think deep down you're afraid it's not gonna work, it's gonna fail, or you're afraid to succeed. But again, this is a good sign if you're there, because it's a reminder that you are at the edge, like you are actually trying something new. So self-sabotage, what you do in those moments is like you invite curiosity, right, to meet that part of yourself, instead of like judging yourself for what you're doing or not doing, but you look with these eyes of curiosity. Yes. And, you know, take one step further. Do you want to say something? Say it. Yeah. So where does it come from? We always want to know where things come from, right? So self-sabotage comes from fear of change. Like I said, we choose over and over what is familiar to us, even if that familiarity is not good. Meaning like, oh, you're in a bad relationship with someone and you know that is bad. But we are so afraid of change that we much rather stay in that relationship than actually changing, right? And it can be also in a job, right? Like you are in a job, and I hear that over and over from my clients. It's like, oh, at least here I know what I have. What if I get a worse boss than what I have here? Well, you won't know if you don't risk it, right? If you don't try. So we are so afraid of change. So that's where it comes from, self-sabotage. Our fears of change, of the unknown, also from our old stories, right? Stories like, I'm not good enough. Oh, I resonate with that. Or, oh, it's not safe to be seen, or I always mess things up, right? So we have internalized these old stories, and that gets in the way of our growth and success. So, yeah. So this also comes from our protection patterns, right? So knowing that the saboteur is there to protect you. So have a conversation with this guy and be like, okay, I know you're here to protect me, but I don't need this protection anymore, you know? So thank you for being here my whole life, trying to protect me, to keep me in this, you know, comfort zone, like in the, what seems comfort. But I want you to know that comfort doesn't equal safety, right? So, okay, what that means, right? Oh, I am in this relationship for a long time and I feel comfortable. But is it really safe, right, to be in this relationship? Or same applies for a job, right? You're in a job for a long time and you feel like, oh, but, you know, here it's safe. You know, I get my insurance, I get this, I get that. But, you know, is it really safe, right? Are you getting what you really want out of this relationship? It can be a work relationship, it can be a romantic relationship, right? So here, not just saying, I connect with what you are saying. Thank you for being here. Thank you. So, self-sabotage, it's tricky, and I'll tell you how it dress up, right? How it you know, it hides itself. So it hides itself in perfectionism, right? So some people want to have everything ready and aligned to start whatever they dream of starting. Come on, people, you can make it perfect later. You know, you start something, experiment, you know, take the risk, and then you can make it, like, you can make it better, not perfect. Like, we shouldn't aim for perfection, you know. Why we are humans. I think we can leave perfection for the machines. So let's be human. Let's start whatever we have to share with the world, you know, as it is, and then we can make it better by being, you know, in action. Another way, like I said, is it dress up is by overthinking, right? Like, so it's when you start ruminating about something, oh my God, that's a way I'm self-sabotaging. Today, I was like really thinking about something. Then I was like, that's not where I want to invest my energy, right? Like, I don't want to be ruminating about this. So let me shift my mind, right? So self-sabotage are thoughts, right? Our thoughts, narratives that we have in our heads that keeps us away from what we really, really want. So we have to manage ourselves. We have to manage these saboteurs. Another way is procrastination, right? Yeah, I can tell my husband is here. I'll talk about him. So here, it's an example, right? So he is someone, he's like, I tell him this, you know, the 2-second rules, like the 2-second like rule, meaning like when you think of something, if you can do it now, just do it, get it done. Like usually he leaves it for later. So he's more of a procrastinator. Me, the opposite. I always think like, okay, if I can get things done, let me just, you know, check. So I'm more of the type of procrastination I do is by being constantly busy, right? So I had to learn to say no, and also to say no to myself, like, oh, stop thinking about this thing that it doesn't deserve or need your attention, you know, just like wash your hands. So people pleasing, it's another way that self-sabotage hides itself. Like, oh, we want to, you know, make everyone happy, everyone satisfied, and then in sacrifice of whom? Of us, our projects, right? So that is a way that many people sabotage themselves. And imposter syndrome, which I have another live that I talked about imposter syndrome. If you want, you can watch it. And yeah, and when we make ourselves or we overcommit, what we are actually doing is like, you know, we are making yourself too busy for not having time to work on what we want, right? So even now, like I am working on finishing, I will commit with you, I'm sharing with you, it's on my website as well, you know, it says coming soon, a coaching program, right? So I'm working on creating that. And then I'm so busy with so many things, right? that I'm like, okay, am I actually putting time to that, right? Like I'm moving forward, but I could move forward even faster if I am not sabotaging myself. So let's see, who is there? Ask me something. All right. What kind of, which kind of sabotage did you identify with? Is it the perfectionist, the overthinker, the procrastination, or people pleasing? Imposter syndrome, like thinking you're not good enough and blah, 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 even though you have evidence that you are, you know, are you the one that makes yourself constantly busy, right? Or are you the type of avoider, right? Like you avoid, that's more in the people pleaser, right? You avoid conflict, you avoid difficult conversations, so you keep just avoiding to survive. 1 and 3, so perfectionism and what was procrastination. Yes. I can see that, my friend. But the good news, and I will say, is that it is a good sign that you are on the edge of your growth. So just wanted to remind you that it means like you're trying something new, you're, you know, almost having a breakthrough. So keep going, even though sometimes we need to take a breath to keep going, you know, because it is challenging to start something new. It is difficult to break through, right? Not difficult, but you know, it takes effort, it takes consistent, it takes the inner work. So what I would say, how you can reach or unlock your potential is by, you know, declaring what you want, right? Share with more people, have it very clear what you want. Design it, right? Design like what are the next steps? What do I need to do? Like plan it, and take action, right? That's like as simple as that. Those are the three things. And it's not so easy to do it by ourselves, right? Because we get sometimes like the saboteur, the voice is so loud in our head that it's like, I just need to take a break, right? But that's why it's called breakthrough. So stay and you will see how it is in the other side. Wow. I talk with very little taking breath here. Yeah, maybe let me see if I can share more stories to help. I just want to normalize that, we all have saboteurs, right? We all have fears, we all have past traumas, we all had a childhood, right? And even though sometimes our childhood seemed like a very good and perfect, like there are always things that we go through in life and that mark us, right? That it hurted, and our system, our nervous system remembers that. That's why it's like it actually feels like we need to go against ourselves, like because intentionally, because we go against ourselves by avoiding success. But here I'm saying we should go against our survival strategies, right? So a simple way to do it is to automatically, if you feel like, okay, I'm gonna stop, this isn't working, or I can't break this pattern, right? Just do the opposite, what that voice is telling you to do, the saboteur voice is telling you to do. So just do the opposite of that, and you see that you'll be heading in the direction of a change, right? I think that's what I have to share. I don't know, you have any other question? Yeah, for me, what works to not sabotage myself is having company. Like, I used to sabotage myself as well in the exercise, taking care of my well-being. It's like, today I don't feel like it, like working out. Today I don't feel like doing this. So, because again, we resist what's normal. It's normal that, we move, we exercise, but the procrastination there, it's like, I'll do it later. So what works for me to not sabotage myself is to have a coach, right? To have someone that can hold me accountable, that can support me, right? And sometimes it doesn't have to be a coach. It can be a buddy, right? It can be a friend that will hold you accountable in your goals, in your, ideals. But yeah, have company. I think that's what works for me. I don't know if it works for you. I don't need company for everything. Like, I work by myself. I work in partnership with some companies, but I also I am my own boss, and I have the discipline to make things work. But in some areas where I tend to procrastinate more, those are the projects that I need to get accountability on. And as I'm saying this out loud, the continuing to build my online program is something that I need to put an accountability again, because I took some steps and then I stopped. And we tend to do that, right? Like, we will stop where things get difficult, complicate, or it gets hard, right? So you're like, let me stop that. And this can be in a project, can be in a relationship, it can be in anything. So my invitation is that you take one step further, right? Don't stop where you usually stop. And get support if you need. So I think that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for staying here with me. And I talk to you soon. Bye.